Okay, let me pass back yesterday's quiz. Got one?
Did you have? I got one, two.
Oh, I didn't do this.
It's supposed to be the point.
That's not this one.
No, I know, but
Oh, okay.
it's the same. It's the same type of like this is what you're supposed to do.
But then I got.
Oh, I forgot how to do it. I did all the other ones, and then I forgot how to do this one.
I don't know how to solve that, so I was just guessing.
This is how you. This is how you do. So you set whatever this
Then
is.
it comes out
You
is
take
y.
the derivative and you make it zero.
Damn it.
You just plug that in.
Two.
No, this is different. This is a different one. But this is it's the same. It's the same. Like this is C on the first
That's the
one.
only thing I got.
So it's you have to take the derivative of this and
Okay.
make it zero.
I
And then
could have forgotten.
Ah,
That wouldn't surprise me.
The one with the graph.
Birthday.
Oh, I made how about
this one is better.
x is equal
I got like
to 2y.
both of them.
But then I couldn't finish it. Let me finish this. No, but all you need is the x coordinate.
Okay, on this one, this isn't kind of an easy one, but where some of us are not like reading or anyway, the slope field it says, and they actually put the points on the graph for you guys now. So like at the point 0, 2, see how they put a point there? And look, all the slopes are horizontal, so all it is, it's a horizontal line. And again, make sure you go all the way from the left to all the way to the right. And the other point they want you to do is 1, 0. See how they put the point there? So if you follow the slopes to the right, it should go like this. If you follow the slopes to the left, it should go down, and then it should go back like this. You just follow the slopes. If you need to go one slope at a time, then go one slope at a time. But you can kind of see it, right, with your eyes, right? So each one of these is 1 point each, yeah? And of course, if it doesn't go through the point they indicated, then you're not going to get the point. Part B. Write an equation for the tangent line when x is 1. Well, we know the y coordinate is 0 because they give it to you, plus it's on the graph as well. And we need to find the slope, so we need the differential equation. dy dx is equal to 1/3 times x times y minus 2 squared. So if I plug in this point, the slope is 1/3 times 1 times 0 minus 2 squared, that's 4, so it comes out to 4/3, although you don't need to simplify it to 4/3 either. So when you write the equation of the tangent line, y minus 0 is equal to 4/3 x minus 1. That's 1 point there. And because I think this is only worth, no, it's only worth 2 points. So this is 1 point, writing the equation of the tangent line. And the last one is, it says, use your result to approximate f of 0.7. So all you need to do to get the next point is plug in 0.7 for x, and you don't need to simplify now. Like that. As long as you show that you plugged in 0.7 for x, you got the other point right there. Do not, in fact, don't even attempt to simplify that. And then the last part was worth 5 points. So that's actually, when they ask for the particular solution, that means you actually need to solve it. So here's your differential equations. First step, separate the variables. So put all the y's on the left with the dy and everything else on the other side. So you get 1 point just for doing that. No calculus involved. Second step is to integrate both sides. Now you're going to get 1 point for each correct antiderivative. So this is like y minus 2 to the negative 2. So make the power 1 bigger, put the reciprocal in the front. Bang, 1 point right there. The antiderivative of x is 1/2 x squared, so most of you simplified it to 1/6 x squared, so that would be 2 more points. But if you don't put the plus c here, you can't get any more points there. You lose everything else. So the next step is to figure out the value of c. So you plug in the initial condition. So if you plug in 0 here, you're going to get negative, what is negative 2 to the negative 1? That's negative half, right? Equals, and if you plug in 1 for x, you're going to get 1/6 plus c. So 1/2 minus 1/6 is equal to c. You can just leave it like that if you want. But I think we can simplify that to 1/3, yeah? So, all you have left then is to get 1.16x squared plus 1/3. And that means you have to solve for y. Now, some people are doing bad math. Don't take any chances. Don't guess it. With the first step, how do I get rid of this minus sign? Multiply both sides by -1. Now, you can do the whole thing, or you can distribute the minus sign. I saw most people distribute the minus sign. How do you get rid of a -1 power? Raise both sides to the -1 power, right? Because when you multiply the exponents, you just get y minus 2. And don't do anything with this. Just leave it like that. And the last step is to add 2 to both sides. So just do this. Boom. Don't try to simplify anything. Because some people, what are they doing? Oh, this step right here. They said take the reciprocal of both sides, so y minus 2 equal. And so this is like x, negative x squared over 6. That's negative 6 over x squared, and then they went minus 3 over 1. You cannot do that. That's illegal math. So don't take any chances. You can't distribute a reciprocal, a -1 power, right? So anyway, we don't want to lose any points, that's why. That's the thing. Especially when that was an easier one, huh? So next time, which is tomorrow, we're going to get 2 quizzes again. In fact, I told you what the 2 quizzes are, right? One is a rate problem, and the other one was? No, one of them is going to include the candidates test. Rate and graph, I think, because those are the ones we have trouble with. All right. Last night's homework. Do we have any questions? Because I gave you complete solutions, but you still, if you have questions, you gotta ask now. We cannot leave anything to chance. See how they try to fool you though? Like here, I'm gonna tell you which one. Number 5. Yeah, see? So the students that kind of know it, but don't really know it, you're going to get this wrong. Number 5, compute the integral from 0 to x of sine t dt. Now, can I just take the x and plug it in? No, that's when you take the derivative of that. So if they ask you to find the derivative of that, then you take the x and plug it in, and the answer would be sine x. But they're not asking you to find the derivative, they're asking you to compute the integral. So how do you compute an integral? You take the antiderivative, plug in the top thing, plug in the bottom thing, and subtract. Number 7, did we all lift and separate? Okay, well you guys gotta tell me which ones look hard.
What is lifting and separate?
Can you go over 24?
It's like x squared plus 1
Okay, wait, right there.
Plus 1 over x.
Number 15, see, number 15, they're asking you to compute the derivative, f prime of 2. So that one, you plug in the x.
You're just gonna
Okay, 24. Oh, the maximum acceleration.
It's actually pretty easy.
Well, let me ask you this. How do you find the maximum of any function?
Derivative.
You take the derivative and make the number line, right? That's what we do. So if they ask you to find the maximum acceleration, you take the derivative of acceleration and you make a number line. Just do what you know how to do. So number 24. Find the maximum acceleration from 0 to 3, which means already, that tells you, don't forget to check the endpoints, where the velocity is given by t cubed minus 3t squared plus 12t minus 4. So first you have to find the acceleration. here's the acceleration. How do you find the maximum of that? You take the derivative of it and you make a number line. So the derivative of acceleration, 6t minus 6, factor out the 6. So when you make your number line, you're going to have 1 there. If you plug in a number bigger than 1, like 2, you get positive and negative. So it's decreasing and increasing. So the maximum acceleration is going to come at one of the endpoints at either 0 or 3, right? Okay, so we need to compute the acceleration at 0 and the acceleration at 3, and whichever one is bigger, that's the maximum acceleration. So if I plug in 0 into the acceleration equation, you get root 12. If you plug in 3, okay, I better not make a mistake, 27 minus 18 plus 12. That comes up to 21. What's bigger, 12 or 21? 21, of course, so that's your answer. So it doesn't matter what. How do you find the maximum velocity? Take the derivative of velocity, make a number line. How do you find the maximum value of h? Take the derivative of h and make a number line. So it doesn't matter like what the function is. Question? 21. Hey, that's the one you're supposed to memorize, right? dy dt equal ky. We just memorized that thing. There's one, and it comes up pretty much on every multiple choice too. So 21 dy dt is equal to ky. So without even thinking, you just write the y equal y naught e to the kt. That's the solution. And then of course, that's the only answer that even looks like that, right? Question?
27.
Okay, so we have to memorize it, because if you don't memorize it, this is what you gotta do. If you don't memorize it, you gotta separate the variables. You gotta integrate both sides. So you got natural log absolute value of y is equal to kt plus c. But since y represents a population, it's going to be positive, so we don't need the absolute value. How do I get rid of the ln? You e both sides. E to the natural log y is y. And then this is the same thing as e to the kt times e to the c, right? Because when you multiply, you add the exponent, so this is just going backwards. And if c is a constant, what is e to the c? A constant, right? E to a number is just another number, right? So this is a constant, and you can probably guess what we call that constant. Y naught. That's right. That y naught is the constant right there. But I'm telling you, for AB, for any level, it's just easier to memorize the darn thing. Whenever you see that, that's the solution.
What if they both kind of look like that?
It won't. It won't. Okay, what was the number again, Tom?
27.
27. Average value. Okay, we have a formula for that, right? What's the formula for average value? 1 over b minus a. Let's get rid of this. So 1 over 2 minus 0, integral from 0 to 2 of x squared. Oh, this is an old one, yeah? X cubed plus. Now, remember, on the AP exam, either it's on the list or you're going to do u substitution. So this one is not on the list, so you're going to do u substitution. So u equals x cubed plus 1. Du is 3x squared dx. So what do we have? 1/2 integral. So this here is the square root of u. X squared dx right there is 1/3 du. And don't forget, this is probably the most important thing when you do u substitution. You gotta change the limits. So if I plug in 0 in for x there, you get 1. If I plug in 2 for x there, you get 8 plus 1, which is 9. So this is 1/6. This is like u to the half. So how do you find the antiderivative? Make the power 1 bigger, put the reciprocal in the front from 1 to 9. Factor out the constants. You don't have to factor out the constants, but I always do. So critical. Arakaki,
You can go over 76.
76, and Henry?
Oh, sorry, can I just use the bathroom?
Oh, yeah.
Also
Oh
got that
my
wrong.
god.
I got
Ninety.
that wrong. I think we checked this.
76.
It's A.
Oh, never mind.
Oh, there it is.
You got it right?
Yeah.
Okay, 76.
Just totally forgot.
So they give you a graph. Which of the following statements is false? Well, it's gotta be the first one already. This function is not continuous there because there's a break. Any kind of break in the function, whether it's a puka, an asymptote, or jump discontinuity, that means it's not continuous.
Okay, wait,
Got it.
what does C even mean though? Like, I was deciding between A and C, and
X equals A, that means when X equals A, there is a Y value somewhere. And there it is. In other words, there's a point there.
Oh, okay.
There's a point there then. How's that? This one says the left-hand limit equals the right-hand limit. It is, right? Because coming from the left and coming from the right, it is going toward the same point. And the limit exists. That means, remember, the only way a limit doesn't exist if the left-hand limit and the right-hand limit are different. It doesn't approach the same point. Yeah, so the answer is A on that one. And sometimes, you know, when they give you a problem like this without the graph, you need to draw the graph. If you draw the graph, it's easy to answer the question.
while we're here, can we go over 78?
Okay. There's gotta be a way for me to, I knew I shouldn't have given up my what do you call it? What do you call that? Yeah, the smart board, that's what it's called. Okay, so this is a related rates problem. Let's erase this. Did you follow my work? Why did I spend all that time doing it? I don't know. Well, hopefully some people will get it. Okay, so when you start reading this thing, you gotta jot down things. It says, okay, the radius of a circle is decreasing at a rate of 0.1 centimeters per second. So the RDT is equal to negative 0.1. Write that down on your paper. In terms of the circumference, what is the rate of change of the area of the circle? So remember, related rates. You need an equation. What's the formula for area? See how they don't give you the formulas for areas? Pi r squared. Second step, take the derivative with respect to time. dA dt is equal to 2 pi r dr dt. So basically when you do implicit, I mean not implicit, but related rates, every time you take the derivative of something, you gotta think of that as box. See, box squared, 2 pi box times the derivative of box. Okay, now they want it in terms of their circumference. Well, isn't 2 pi r the circumference of the circle? And then dr dt is negative 0.1, so that's your answer right there.
So you don't have to like.
Okay, wait, before we go any further, we're gonna have 4 multiple choices. Every single one is gonna have complete solutions like this now. So
To have four.
save time in class that way. Ishikawa?
For number 80, I tried to put in the equation, but my calculator couldn't graph it, and I kept
What?
losing.
Your calculator can't graph it?
Oh, I know why.
Oh.
Cause right cosine x and then the square goes on the outside.
Oh, yeah.
Cause if you put it
Oh,
exactly
yeah,
like
I
this,
tried
it
that,
doesn't work.
Yeah, you gotta go cosine x parentheses squared.
Yeah, I put it in the parentheses and I squared it like that, but then it was like, I don't know. it took me a
Are you in
really long
radian
time.
mode?
Yeah, it was just taking like a super long time, so I gave up.
Really? It's taking a super long time? Okay, let me see if I can remember that. Okay, cosine squared x, okay. That's doubtful I can remember that. But I'll try. Okay, here's your calculator, so you go, we gotta go back to function. Okay, get rid of this. See, I forgot it already. Okay, so parentheses, cosine x squared divided by something, yeah? What was it? X.
I don't know.
Right click, minus 1/5? Is that right? Okay, enter that. Okay, there we go. And we only want to graph it from 0 to 10, so wouldn't it be like shift plot setup? Wouldn't it be good to just go from 0, enter, hey, how come it's not entering? Enter, 10, enter. Now, let's plot it. Ooh, that's a bad window. We gotta change the window so we can, because basically you just gotta count how many times it crosses the x-axis, yeah? So how about we just go from -2 to 2 instead? I think that would be better. Now plot it. There. How many times does the graph cross the x-axis? I'm still having a hard time.
3,
Maybe? Oh, just pinch. You guys can just pinch it, right, or squeeze it to make it. Anyway, a critical point is when the derivative is 0 or doesn't exist. So it's going to be 0 when it touches the x-axis, right? So you just got to count how many times it touches the x-axis. So I would like zoom in some more to kind of see it better.
how many times does it?
3.
So what happened, Reed?
I tried it right now and it worked, but I don't know why, like, I couldn't do it earlier.
Oh, it's just like when you go to the doctor or dentist. Oh yeah, my tooth was so sore yesterday, but then now it's not.
Mr. Parker,
Uh-huh.
I got this one wrong because I thought it was multiplying by negative, but it was a minus sign.
Yeah, come on.
What? I mean, it looks
Well,
like.
if they're gonna put multiply, they're either gonna put parentheses or they're gonna put the times
Well,
sign.
like, the dash is like the same one.
No, yeah, okay, but come on, this is,
It looks like multiple.
no, okay, they're not gonna have pity on you for that one. Plus, come on, this is multiple choice, right, so. If it looks like a minus sign, it is a minus sign. Okay, anything else? See, look, number 81. If you just, this is what I'm talking about, on this kind of problem. If you just draw the graph, you can answer the question. We know what the absolute value of x looks like, right? It's the v. So then we can answer the question.
90.
Hmm?
Number 90. I was gonna say 83.
83. Well, you can either use L'Hopital's or factor it and cancel.
Oh, I forgot about those.
Oh,
You
yeah.
guys forgot L'Hopital's. Remember, when can you use L'Hopital's? 0 over 0 or infinity over infinity. Right? Because if you plug in a for x, you get 0 over 0, so you do L'Hopital. Or you can just simply factor the bottom and cancel, and then you get your answer either way. How many of you did L'Hopital? Only a couple people, and the rest of you factored it?
I couldn't factor it.
I didn't even
How do you even, is
I don't know how I did
1
this.
over x squared plus a squared?
I just did.
Okay, this is number 83. See, this is why we gotta practice multiple choice. It's not as easy as you think. X squared minus a squared over x to the 4th minus a to the 4th. Okay, so whenever you compute a limit, the first thing you do is plug in the number. If I plug in a for x, don't you get 0 over 0? So when it's 0 over 0, you got two options. L'Hopital's rule, which is probably the best, or simplify it, or look for friend. Remember that? Look for friend.
Yeah.
Okay, but since I did L'Hopital over there, why don't we simplify this thing then? Okay, so you can just leave that there, or you can factor it some more. But see, this is like a difference of squares, so you can go x squared plus a squared times x squared minus a squared, and then these cancel out. So you end up with 1 over that. Now can I plug in a and get something? What happens when I plug in a now? Right here. You get 1 over, what is a squared plus a squared? 2a squared, and there's your answer. Or you can just do L'Hopital's rule, that works too, yeah.
For when you do it with these songs, where like is it 2A and then the 4?
Okay, a is a constant now. The
Okay.
variable, see, this is your variable. X is the variable, a is a number, like 2 or something, or 5. So when you take the derivative of a squared, it's gonna be 0, yeah? And then right there, look, 84, there it is again. dy dt equal ky. You see that? We gotta train ourselves. Whenever you see this, it's y equal y naught e to the kt. See how it shows up? That's twice already on this multiple choice level. separate the variables and solve it. We don't wanna do that. Okay, did somebody say 90? What about 88, code red, right here? This comes up all the time, multiple times on every multiple choice. Code red, and I mean the fundamental theorem of calculus part 2. Okay, no other questions then? See how I make number lines? Anytime they ask for a maximum, minimum, point of inflection, just make a number line. Okay, when does this class end? 10 o'clock. Okay. Because I gotta pass out up here. Okay, number 90, this is a related rates problem. Anyway, whenever they tell you, oh, this is changing at this rate, this is changing at that rate, that's related rates. So in number 90, it says, the base of, so they're talking about the area of a triangle. So first step, write down the equation. Second step, you take the derivative with respect to time. So you can either put d dt or a dot, it's the same thing. Okay, that's a constant, I'm gonna throw it on the side, and this is a product, so please use the product rule, right? Derivative of the first, leave the second one alone, leave the first one alone, derivative of the second. Okay, and then plug in the numbers that you know. Now what do we know? The base of a triangle is increasing at a rate of 3 inches per minute. So that means, what did I just read? ddt is 3, so this is 3. The height is decreasing at the rate of 3 inches per minute. So dh dt is negative 3. So this makes it negative 3b, correct? Okay. So it says, which of the following must be true about the area of the triangle? Well, if I factor out the 3, you get 3 halves times h minus b. Well, the way the area is going to change depends on which one is bigger, right? Because if h is bigger than b, when you subtract, then don't you get a positive number here? Which means the area is increasing, right? If the derivative is positive, right? But if b is bigger than h, then this thing will be negative, which means the area is decreasing. And then now you can pick out the answer, right? If the derivative is positive, that means the original function was increasing. If the derivative is negative, the original function was decreasing. Okay, does that cover it? Okay, let me look. See, look, 91, draw the graph. If you draw the graph, you can kind of see, like, hey, they're talking about the intermediate value theorem and stuff like that. So, you know, students typically have trouble with these theoretical functions. Like, they don't actually give you the function, they just give you maybe a couple points or something. Draw a graph, make a sketch.
So I have a question just generally, like for something that's not differentiable, the two slopes wouldn't match up on the right and
The left-hand slope is not the same as the right-hand slope.
that would also
Well, okay, so for a function to be differentiable, first of all, it has to be continuous. And then it has to be smooth. And the only way a graph can be smooth is the left-hand slope and the right-hand slope are gotta be the same.
So how come that doesn't include like vertical tangents?
Because the slope of a vertical line is undefined, yeah? So undefined is not a number, that's why. Okay, now let me show you, you guys know that the AP exam is 13 days from today, huh? It's ridiculously close already. So tonight's homework, where are we? Is the 2017 free response. I'm gonna pass that out. We're gonna do it on paper now.
Is this the first one? Yes.
Now, the last 3 years, this is the key now, we're in the critical stage now. The last 3 years free response, the AP exam really doesn't change that much from year to year. Maybe the miscellaneous problem might throw you off or something, but all the other problems are pretty much the same.
So we didn't get the local edit.
So, I actually took some of the problems from the 2017 FRQ, I actually put them in quizzes. So, then I'm gonna give you back your score, what your projected score is. So, I'm just gonna assume you did equally well on the multiple choice, and I'll tell you what your AP score is. So that means, again, don't get help from anybody. Now, you can get help from somebody and then, oh, you get perfect, but then that's not gonna give you a
I
true,
would rather have
right, reading of where you are.
on the posting.
But 2017, since I took 2 of the problems and put them on the quiz, look, I put the solutions in here somewhere. Right here, I put the scoring guidelines for 2017 here. But then once we hit 2018 and 19, I want you to do it on your own. Now going back to the assignment sheet. Wow, we got, yeah. Anyway, so we don't have that many quizzes. Tomorrow I'm gonna have a double quiz. On Monday, I don't know what to give you yet. I wanna grade these things first. Whatever we're weakest on, that's what I'm gonna give you on, a quiz on. And then quiz number 10, this is the justification quiz. Everybody here needs to know how to justify your answer. So this morning I came in early, I made a justification worksheet. Where is the darn thing? Where do I see the word justification? Right here. A-B justification worksheet. The quiz I'm gonna give you looks almost exactly like this, okay? This is like a practice quiz right here. These are all the kinds of questions they're gonna ask you to explain your answers. Now we've been going over them, but you guys gotta be able to do it. So like, for example, number 1, they give you a piecewise function. Is this function continuous at x equal 3? How do you tell?
Plug in.
If let's make it bigger. Even for me, it's good. If I plug in 3 into the top, you get 9. If I plug in 3 into the bottom, you get 9. It is continuous. But you gotta explain why. You guys remember how?
Yeah,
Yeah, so you look at the answers there. Yes, because the limit as x approaches 3 of f of x equals f of 3, and they're both equal to 9. So there, got all the answers, but don't look at the answers until you actually do them. So it's gonna look just like this. All I do is I just change things around. You know how the normal quizzes are. Like especially what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make, because you gotta get into the habit of labeling the function now. Because what if I said this is h of x? Because if you write f of x when it's supposed to be h of x, you're not gonna get the point. So you gotta practice doing that, yeah? So sometime before this quiz next week Tuesday, you're gonna have to do this worksheet. Because it's gonna help your grade, right? 15 out of 15 would do wonders for your grade. Okay, any questions then? Okay, then we're gonna do some drills and then I'll pass out 10 o'clock. Oh, there's only 7 minutes left. That's okay, we can squeeze in a few drills. We can always squeeze in a few drills. Okay, Anduha. I'll write on this side of the board. What is the solution to this differential equation? dy dx equal negative 4y. I'll give you a hint, we talked about it twice already in this class.
You have to divide it out.
Okay, look. What if I tell you, this is the one that we need to memorize? Wait. So I do how? Remember, there's only one differential equation that we memorize in AB. BC, they're gonna memorize too. We just gotta memorize it. Y equal,
EKT.
so what is the whole thing?
Oh, I don't know.
Y not,
Oh, times EKT.
yeah, but what is K? See, this is
Negative 4,
negative 4,
Y.
no, X. We need to memorize this. And sometimes they even give you different letters. Okay, we'll wait a while before we get there. Eduardo, what is the integral of g prime of x dx? No, g double prime of x dx from a to b.
G prime of b.
G prime what?
B minus g prime a.
There you go. Fundamental theorem of calculus part 2. Who's next? Haruka Kawasaki, what is the derivative of the integral from x squared to 2, now let's go 3, of cosine of x cubed, no, x t cubed dt?
Okay, can I do steps?
Okay,
Negative sign to
okay, so negative and then make sure the constant is on the bottom, okay?
then plug in cosine, so it's cosine, negative cosine x to the 6th times the x.
There you go, that is correct. Everybody see that? This is the fundamental theorem of calculus part 1. It allows you to take the derivative of an integral. Okay, who's next? Hobbs. What is the solution to this differential equation? dw dq is equal to kq. I'll give you a hint, this is a trick. Trying to trick you.
Q prime.
So, so the solution is like, okay, let me ask you this. What if I just said dy dx is equal to x squared? What's the solution? Y equal 1/3 x cubed plus c, right? Everybody see that?
K squared. Oh, K cube. K. Okay. Q 1/2 Q. Plus C.
Okay. Everybody see that? Don't get tricked. Although AB did, once in a while they try to trick.
If it was the other way, if it
Okay, so what if they had dw dq equal 7w? What if they had that though? Henry,
W equals W naught e to the 7q.
You guys see the difference? Yeah. Well, yeah, I'm guessing they wouldn't try to trick you with this, but you just never know. Okay, integral.
on the right hand.
Integral cosecant squared 5x dx. Who's next in line? Hyler.
Negative COT 5x times 1/5 plus c.
Plus c. Hinderleiter. Integral dx over 3x plus 4.
ln x is value plus 3x plus 4 no times 3
No.
no times a third.
You gotta, when you do antiderivative, you adjust for the derivative of the box.
1/3
So 1/3
plus c.
and then plus c. Okay, one more. Who's got it? Ishikawa. What is the derivative of 4 to the tan inverse 3x?
Oh, 4 tan negative, inverse tan dx times ln 4, times,
The derivative of that.
yeah.
That's the problem, Mr. Park.
Oh, 1 over, 9x squared plus 1.
On the bottom.
Oh, wait,
Is that what he said?
yeah,
Okay, just say yes and then. Times
times
the derivative of the box.
3.
Right, the derivative of tan inverse box is 1 over box squared plus 1 times the derivative of box. Yeah, the bell's gonna ring in 30 seconds.
How long is this one take?
It could be shorter than the last one.
Oh, no, just hang on to it for now.
Or eventually you can do this.
only get 80%, right? 80% means we get a 5. So again, practice doing the writing on this down. Some of you might be thinking, hey, they don't give us much space to write, but what's gonna actually happen? You're gonna get like 2 whole pages to do the work.
Oh, I got one. I kept. Yeah, there.
Okay, so this is just
I'm both.
I'm gonna give it to
I'm
you.
both. No, literally. Okay, I'm the second one. I also
I'll find a
show
way.
why the derivative was
Okay,
that.
see you tomorrow.
That's all. I think that's all. I don't know about the other ones. I'm gonna ask them to go.
I switched it to dumbbells.
Okay, see you later. Okay, you gotta take the other part of the quiz. Okay? Don't worry about it, just wait till tomorrow. Just wait till tomorrow.
Can I take the practice exam with Mr. Hashimoto's class on the weekend?
Oh, is she gonna let you?
I asked and she said to talk to Mr.
Yeah,
Pop.
if you want.
Okay.
Do we just
Oh,
hold
yeah,
on to the
go to your
1998?
Like,
Yeah,
like
Mr. Yates
when
said
we
I
have
should
our
go to his
practice,
class.
we have our practice after school, you know, the Monday. I don't let anybody else come.
Mr. Yates said I can't come, but I'm asking Mr. Hashiro.
Yeah, if you want, it's fine with me. The more practice you get, the better you're gonna be, right? I'm amazed that she let you, she's gonna let you
Well, I
go.
don't know. She said talk to Mr. Clark first. Mr. Yates just said no.
Yeah, I say no, please don't.
What's this other quiz on?
Are you even keeping, you even read the assignment sheet?
It's a miscellaneous quiz. Good luck.
Implicit differentiation. No calculator.
Wait, the last one?
Wait, so do you even know what tomorrow's quiz is on?
I think it's rates.
Rate and graph.
Oh.
And one of them is gonna have a candidates test in it.